Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Outliers YouTube channel and podcast series in our program, Get to Know. I'm your host, DP Lyle, and I'm here with my partner in crime, Kathleen Antrim.
Thanks, Doug. It is great to be here. And we have one of my favorite authors and people, quite frankly, here with us today.
Exactly.
It's going to be another fantastic interview. We've got Allison Brennan. She's a New York Times #1 best-selling author. She's an international best-selling author. She's an incredible writing instructor, and she's just one of the nicest people you'll ever meet. Allison, welcome to Get to Know.
Thank you so much for having me. Although I have not hit #1 on the New York Times list. The highest I've hit is 10. So
Well,
But top 10
okay.
works,
I was just taking
guaranteed.
the
Yeah,
zero off, but
that,
okay.
that's okay. That's okay. Hey, you know what? Throw it out in the universe and maybe it'll happen,
It
right?
will happen. Exactly.
exactly.
Exactly. So I always like to talk about background, as you know, a little bit about writing. And you've got a big party coming up because you're going to be celebrating, is it 20 years now since you
Yep.
first got published? And I think we are on number 55 as far as books.
51. This is
51.
book number 51.
You know, I should be your PR person because I've got you as #1 on the New York Times. And
And she can inflate anything.
apparently, this is so exciting. But one of the things I want to ask you in the 20 years that you've now been a published writer, how do you feel that has changed your life? I mean, did it offer you opportunities you might not necessarily have gotten? And, just overall, how do you think your life would, be different if you weren't an author?
Well, I it's actually a really good question. I haven't thought about it. I mean, I would say I used to work in the California State Legislature and I was a consultant and I did a lot of computer stuff and I used to love my job. I worked with across the aisles. I worked with everybody because it was computer constituent communication and learning how to use uh, the proprietary computer system in order to talk to your constituents and track them with the issues they cared about and stuff. And I really believed strongly in the program. But after 13 years, I got really tired of doing the same thing all the time. And so I actually seriously started writing because one, wanted to stay home with my kids, and two, I was beginning to get burnt out of my job. So people always say, oh, well, if you weren't going to be a writer, what would you be? Well, I don't think I would go back to the legislature because I mean, it's like, okay, been there, done that. When I was a kid, I used to want to be a forensic pathologist because Quincy used to be one of my favorite shows, which I know Doug is going to be laughing because totally not realistic at all. Um, and I thought, oh, but I probably wouldn't be able to handle it, cutting people open and the body. And then I went to the morgue and I witnessed an autopsy and I said, oh, I really could have done that. But I think one of the things what I really, really loved was the fact being a writer gives you a lot of flexibility. I mean, I have deadlines, but it doesn't matter if I'm writing at 2 in the morning or 2 in the afternoon. So raising my kids, I had the flexibility of being able to go on field trips or pick them up after school or go to sporting events because I said, okay, well, I'll just drop everything, go do that. And then I can come back and write at night. So I think that really did change my life. Because I had little kids when I sold and quit my job. But then as I grew up, I realized having that flexibility gave both me and them a lot more of me. And
Yeah.
I'm very grateful for that.
And how about unusual, maybe opportunities or things that you've gotten to do, like an autopsy, because you are a writer?
Okay, well, my very, very, very favorite thing that I did was I went through the FBI Citizens Academy in Sacramento. And what that was, it was basically like they called VIPs, like, city council members. There was a congressional staffer, a bank president, people like that would come in and they would give us like an 8-week course. And once a week, and we'd listen to different people in the office talk about different aspects of the FBI. And it was absolutely fascinating. Well, after that, because I had to get, what is it, background check before I participated in it, um, they invited me to do SWAT training. So the FBI SWAT team would train all the other Northern California SWAT teams. So from all over, I mean, obviously Northern California is huge. I mean, you have a lot of counties, a lot of different law enforcement agencies. And I got to be a bad guy and be arrested. They put me in handcuffs. That was not fun because it's part of a drill. So you have to stay in handcuffs for the entire drill because, they're doing all these different things. And then I got to be a victim. I got to be shot in the leg, not real bullet, but they did moulage where they make it look like a real bullet. And so to train like in an active shooter situation. And I also was the wife of a bad guy that they were had to talk. They didn't have a warrant and they had to talk their way in. And then when they had a warrant, so it was like all these fun different drills that I got to do. And then I will say was one of the best parts of being a writer was getting to do all that fun stuff.
I'm gonna look into that. That sounds really cool.
Well, yeah, all of that sounds very useful for storytelling. I guarantee you. Yes, because it's one thing to be face to face. Yeah.
Well, it's not just participating in it, which was lots and lots of fun. It was that after every drill, whoever was the team leader would then ask everyone involved, well, why did you do this? And why did you do that? And they would tell stories about, 5 years ago, we encountered this situation. So that's why our team now does this. And, we did this, or we had this. It was fascinating listening to all those personal stories of how they ended up behaving in certain drills and why they did certain things a certain way. And then we'd all get to eat lunch together, and I got to pick their brains. And there's nothing better than to talking to experts and just asking them questions, just why'd you get involved? What's your most interesting case? What's something funny that happened? So,
and I suspect a bunch of that stuff has appeared in books over the years. So
a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, no, maybe not directly, but at least informed what you were doing. It gave you a feeling for what they do and all that. Yeah. Law enforcement in general, if nothing else. Yeah. Cool.
Yep.
So let's talk about your book.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Tell us all about it.
Well, Make It Out Alive is the 7th book in the Quinn and Costas.
Oh, I think we've lost her. Are we having a little glitch? Can you hear us, Allison?
Check for a pulse.
We'll have to edit this. Maybe
cut. No, she'll come back. I mean, she's there. It's just something's off.
We could edit this out, maybe. Allison.
So anyway, let's just talk about her since she's not here.
Oh yes, we can talk.
We can do that. But I love this cover.
It's beautiful.
Isn't that a great cover?
Yeah,
and
it's
very
really
suspenseful.
intriguing too.
Very suspenseful, yes.
Really like it.
I bet she's logging back on, which is fine. And I loved the last one, the Deadly Deeds, and that was so much fun. So much fun.
And she's a pantser. I mean, it's just amazing to me.
I know. And I will tell everybody that she, besides her party coming up this Sunday, which we'll talk more about, but she has a class coming up in about 2 weeks, isn't it? 2 weeks.
Yeah, an Outliers. Yeah,
an Outliers class on villains and stuff. So that will be a kick. So check out Outliers and look for Allison's class. It's coming up.
It's going to be phenomenal. Yes. Well, maybe we should stop the recording and we can start it again when we get her back.
She's got to be just booting back in.
She has a hard time with Zoom, she said. I don't know if it's the internet.
Doesn't everyone? Well, let's talk about what's going on at Outliers. We've got a bunch of classes set up for the next.
Boy, we sure do. And it's not
next few months
to get in on the Don Moss
4-part
series classes. Even if you missed the first one, we've got the replay for you. And I'll tell you, this class has been a huge hit. And why? Because you're getting truly insider information from a legendary agent who's an icon in the business. So, go to Outliers Writing University if you have any interest in really learning, the down and dirty, the inside stuff as far as, what your book needs to look like to really get an agent and to sell it. So.
Well, what I like is Don talks about so much about emotional resonance in the story, which
Yes.
we all know how to spin a yarn and do dialogue and plotting and setting and all of that, but he takes it to another level where he talks about the emotional effect of everything that's going on the character and how to filter that through the character, which adds great depth and substance to any story. So I'm working on a historical novel right now, and I've already gone back to a dozen scenes and reworked them just after Don's first class, and we got three more to go. You know,
Yeah.
it
No, I mean,
it
and that's what makes people remember characters. It's that
exactly,
emotional connection. It's not just words on a page
exactly.
or description.
So anybody out there who wants to sign up, we will give you a 30-day access to the class you missed, which was 2 hours of amazing, and we
Content.
got three
Incredible.
more 2 hour sessions coming up over the next 4 or 5 weeks. So,
Yeah,
um,
it's going to be, it's
yeah,
just an incredible class. And, I tell people when you really want to get published at the higher level, especially the traditional level, you're trying to play in the NFL, quite frankly.
yeah.
It's, a very small percentage you're going to make it. And these are the kinds of classes you need to be able to really get there. It's just mind-boggling information. So it looks like we've got Allison coming back.
Yes,
I'm coming. I'm coming.
There she
yes.
is. Yeah, we don't know what happened. Probably
There,
a bird flew over your house or
There
something.
you are.
yeah. Well, Doug disappeared and then
Oh,
everything shut down.
Oh,
oh, well, I do that a lot.
well, we're glad you're back.
I'm
So let's
back. You
talk
can cut
about
all
Make It
that
Out
out,
Alive.
right?
Okay. No, because we vamped. We had a good time. So now tell us about the new book, which is what we were
Yes.
patiently
Working
or
on. Yes,
impatiently
yes.
waiting for.
Okay, Make It Out Alive is the seventh book in the Quinn and Costa series, and it's I think it does stand alone. I try to write all my series books to stand alone, so it's a complete mystery. But this one is a little bit different because it starts where they actually arrest a serial killer and they're interviewing him, and of course he's denying. I don't know why you arrested me. I'm just this innocent guy, and they they kind of jumped the gun. And I kind of came up with the idea because sometimes I'm very pro law enforcement, but sometimes they get an idea in their head and they kind of jump the gun. They don't have enough evidence, even though they know uh, that the guy is guilty. So it ends up they're interviewing him. They have some circumstantial evidence against him, including the fact that he entered the room of the undercover FBI agents that were there. But they don't have enough to keep him. So ultimately, what happened was is there's three couples that were kidnapped and murdered from an exclusive resort in Florida, and they caught this guy. He's in prison, and that weekend, my two main characters disappear. The ones that were posing as a married couple. So
Mm,
the story takes place that's all happens very very quickly, so I'm not giving away a lot of spoilers, but the story alternates between Matt and Kara, who are basically held captive in a deadly escape building, in a remote building somewhere. They have no idea where they are. They don't know how to get out. All they know is that there's danger around every corner. And then the rest of the team who is trying to find them and also prove that the guy that they arrested is actually guilty, but obviously he isn't the one that kidnapped them. So it was a lot of fun to write. And I actually
Oh,
had to use my
wow.
husband a lot because he's the smart one. He majored in mechanical engineering in college, even though he didn't do it as a career, he actually majored in it. And he was very helpful into making my little deadly escape room plausible.
Mhm.
I say, yes, I did have to stretch credibility, but it's still possible for all of this to happen. So
yep,
that
yep.
he really helped me with all the physics of it, which I'm not very good at.
One of the things Doug and I were mentioning while you were coming back on Zoom is that you're a pantser and you just sit down and start writing. And I just, honestly, that just blows my mind. Do you ever get just frustrated or, you're looking for a twist and you don't know where to go? I mean, how do you manage that?
um, well, if I know what's going to happen, then I don't want to write the book. And that's kind of why I have a hard time with synopsis. I don't like to write out an
Yes.
outline and explain what's happening. I'm really good at setup. I can give the setup of my book and everything that's going into that opening chapter and kind of the overarching story. Like I know, oh, is this a race against time story? Is this a natural disaster? Is this a serial killer? Is it a traditional murder mystery kind of thing? I know that, but I don't know what's going to happen. And I approach it as I'm the point of view character. So if I'm a cop, I'm going in, I'm coming to a crime scene. What am I going to see? What is important? And by doing that, I feel like I can keep the suspense high because I don't know what's going to happen exactly. I have an idea, but it could change. And then if I have to delete anything later, I can do that. That's the nice thing about computers. It's like when I first started, when I was a kid, back in the dark ages, I had a typewriter and it
Mhm.
actually did have a correction ribbon, but it was a pain in the butt. You had to like
Yes.
go back and
Yep.
type over the letter with the white, like a white
Yeah.
typeface and then type over it again. Yeah, that wasn't fun. So having computers, I can write if I get something wrong or if I decide to change something, backtrack, delete, rewrite. And by the time I'm done with the book, it's pretty much done. So, and
Wow.
every once in a while, I will say though, with Make It Out Alive, I wrote the epilogue when I was about halfway through the book. I just instantly saw that last scene. And so I wrote it. And then I just left it there at the end of the book. And then I was writing, right. I wasn't even sure I was going to be able to keep it, but I did. And oh my gosh, it's still to this day one of my favorite chapters I've ever written.
Oh, cool.
That's
That's
So
that
really
is
it'll,
really
cool.
cool. It's interesting you said I just did that today. I'm working on a historical. I'm about 53,000 words into it. Um, and it flashed on me what the final scene had to be. And it had a cool character in it that we didn't meet before. He's a preacher and he's got a background. So I immediately sat down and wrote about 1,000 words of that scene, and I stuck it in my note file, in my Scrivener, where you can put notes. And then I went on back to where I was. But I don't do that often. Like you, I'm a pantser, and I just start writing and let's see where it goes and let's have fun with it. But this story and a lot of your stories have such complicated twists and plots and character movements through them that I'm always astounded as how you're able to pull it off without outlining, even though I hate outlining too, like you. We've talked about it
just
a
I can't,
lot.
I
But
can't stand it.
you managed to bring all the threads together so well. And yeah, there's an art and a craft to that. So God bless.
Well,
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know if it's just the way my brain is wired or
Mhm.
wrongly wired or whatever. It's just kind of how I think. But I also have to tell myself when I get stuck,
Mhm.
um, that I can fix anything.
Yeah.
So sometimes I will skip a chapter if I'm really struggling with this. Like I know this chapter has to be in here. I know I have to get this information out. But if I'm really struggling, I'll either go to the next chapter or I'll
Hmm.
go back to the chapter beforehand and rewrite it to see if I can like jumpstart my troubled
Right.
chapter.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah.
And it usually works. 9 times out of 10, that works.
Have you ever gotten like halfway through a book and had to go, this just isn't working and
Oh,
toss
yeah.
it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll tell a story. So, because, it is going on my 20th anniversary, but I thought my
Yes.
career was going to be over after my first book. My second, so my first contract was a 3-book contract with Ballantine, and it was a trilogy. The Prey, the Hunt, the Kill. So the Prey was done, as most people, they write their first book. That's what they sell. It's complete. I edited it. The ending needed a lot of work. So like the last 100 pages, I like really rewrote a lot, but I was like so excited because she loved my book and she loved my story. And the second book, I was actually almost done when I sold the first book. So the second book, I just had to rewrite to have a connecting character, so that it could be a true trilogy. So did that, and I was like so excited. I turned it in, and my editor sent me back an editorial letter saying that she absolutely loved my first chapter, but basically she she said very nicely that I wrote the scenes that didn't need to be written and I left out all the good stuff.
Whoa.
So
Oh,
I actually, a good friend of mine, Karen Tapke, she was one of my old critique partners that I no longer had a critique group at that time, but I went to her and I said, Karen, I am so stuck. I don't know what to do. I have to rewrite this entire book. And I didn't know what I did wrong. I thought, oh, I wrote one great book and I'm never going to know how to write another book again. So I sent
mm,
Karen my editorial letter that my editor gave me. And then I rewrote, other than the first chapter, which was really, really good in The Hunt, the prologue in the first chapter, verbatim how I wrote them. But starting in chapter 2, I essentially told the exact same story, but completely different. So
interesting.
everything happened, all the same people died, all the same things happened in the story, but I told different parts of the story. And it ended up, my editor said she was halfway done reading it. She says, I never reach out to an author before I'm done reading the rewrite, but I want to let you know that I am absolutely floored that you nailed this.
Wow.
And so I was like,
That's
oh,
fantastic.
maybe I have a career after all. It was, but it was terrifying. And it is terrifying.
Mhm.
And there's been times, so I have 51 books. Nothing is easy, but some books are easier than others.
Right.
And some books you feel like, oh my gosh, I'm never going to be able to finish this. I don't know what I'm doing. I have no idea where I'm going. And it happens probably for me about every 5 to 7 books is the book that I'm like going, oh my gosh, I'm never going to be able to write another book again.
Hmm.
This absolutely sucks. And then I I don't even know how I find different ways to get through it because ultimately they pay me when I turn in the book. So it's actually really important for me to finish it and turn it in. But sometimes it's hard. And then I
Well,
think
there's a
about
great
that.
lesson there in what you said is that sometimes if you're struggling with a chapter, take a step back and say, maybe I'm telling the wrong parts of this scene, or maybe I'm telling from the wrong point of view if you have that option in your story. Maybe I'm focusing on the wrong events and the wrong internal thoughts about what's going on in this scene or the wrong outcome for this scene. Yeah, go back and look at the scene from a different point of view. And I think that's what she was telling you, that
I
scene by
absolutely.
scene. Yeah.
Yeah, and I took it and I took it was the exact same story,
Yep.
and it was very, very interesting. I learned a huge lesson. And I think there are some authors that I've met over the years that say, oh, they don't need an editor or they don't listen
No.
to their editor or
Mm,
an editor is there for grammar. No, that's a copy editor.
Yeah,
Um, all of my books, every single one is better because of editorial input.
absolutely.
I've never had an editor that has changed my voice or has told me I can't do
Right.
something. I've had editors that say this isn't working or this scene isn't working. Um, that's what I need. If I know something's not working, don't tell me how to fix it. Just tell me that something's wrong,
Right.
that it's not
mhm.
suspenseful enough, or it's too short, or I didn't hit all the emotional points, or something like that, and I'll fix it. Because if you're going to tell me what to do, then it's more your book than mine.
Right,
So
right.
when's this book coming out?
Make It Out Alive comes out next Tuesday,
Yep.
but
Okay. And your party's
people that go to my
Sunday.
party can get it 2 days early. Yay! So
Oh,
if you
Okay.
that's
live in
exciting.
Arizona and you want to come to my 20th anniversary party, it will be at the Poisoned Pen, 2 o'clock, Sunday, January 25th.
And that's in
Um,
Scottsdale, correct?
in Scottsdale. And
Yep.
hey, I'm going to jump up from a desk because I'm going to show what everybody that comes to the party gets a special gift.
Ooh,
And that I'm
Oh, we like
really?
special gifts.
really, really excited about because I've never done this before. So I had to go run over to the table. Everybody that comes gets a book bag with the
Ooh,
Ooh, I
cover and
love
20th
that.
anniversary party.
I
Oh, I
like it. I
love
like
that.
it. I
That's
like it. Very
fantastic.
cool.
So that's my gift to people. And I'm also giving away, I'm going to give away a copy of The Prey, which was my first book. And
Oh,
I'm going to give
cool.
Oh,
a advanced reading copy of Whisper Creek, which is
ooh,
my standalone thriller that comes out in June.
That's a lot of swag. So
Yeah.
cool. So
I
those are
also
that's
have
done.
okay.
What are you working on now?
Yeah.
well, I am writing. let's see, I just turned in the third Angel Heart Investigations book that comes out in September. And I'm actually writing, I'm about two-thirds of the way done of the eighth Quinn and Costa book.
Oh,
Right
cool.
now, tentatively called One Final Warning.
Mm.
So I'm about two-thirds done. I expect it to be further along, but Christmas kind of just kicked me in the butt, and I had a house full of people, which was great. But it took me a little bit of time once everybody left to actually jumpstart my writing
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
So, but that's
Yeah.
okay. I think it's coming along, and it's going to be very, very suspenseful, I hope.
Well, we want you
Oh, I'm
back
sure.
before Whisper Creek comes out in June so we can talk about that. Because
Oh,
Absolutely.
that's pretty cool.
absolutely.
So we'll plan that. We'll reach out and we'll get all that set up. And then I tell everybody, uh, this series is great. The Angel Heart Investigations series is fantastic. So
Thank
great
you.
characters, great stories, and everybody needs to jump on board if you haven't. And it's really a cool group. Yep.
Thank you.
So, Allison, one more time before we say goodbye. This Sunday, tell us about the party. Everybody's invited. And go ahead and
Yep.
give us the details again.
January 25th, Sunday, 2 p.m. at the Poisoned Pen in Scottsdale, Arizona. So if you're in the greater Scottsdale area, I hope people can come. Everybody will get a book bag who shows up. I am also have these like little special cookies that I have with my cover on them, and a little Prosecco for a toast for 20 years of writing. And anybody
Cool.
can ask me anything. We're going to talk about writing, publishing, books, the writing process, what's changed over the last 20 years. It should be a lot of fun.
Oh my gosh, it's going to be
I
a
wish we
great
were there.
time.
I
And we've
wish you
got
were
to have you
too.
back. I'm excited to have you back for the next one. And I'm very excited that you keep on writing so that we have some more to read. So
Yes.
very appreciative of that.
Well,
Doug,
thank you.
back to you.
So where can people reach you and find out about you? What's your website address?
AllisonBrennan.com.
Okay,
And all of my social media links are there on the front page of my website.
cool.
Fantastic.
Allison, it's always a hoot and a half. We love you, and it's so much fun talking, and we can't wait to sit down face to face in a bar somewhere and lie to each other. Right? It's what we do, and I can't wait. So everybody, thanks for being here. This wraps up this episode of Get to Know here on the Outliers YouTube channel and podcast series. And we can't wait to have you back again. So until then, keep reading, keep writing, keep having fun, and try not to get caught.